All right, so here we go. We got a ton of brand new updates about Starfield, by far one of the most anticipated games of 2022. We've got new info about the faction system. We're going to be talking about the graphics engine and the AI. Some really cool stuff from a recent Todd Howard interview, but he didn't stop there. He also talked about Elder Scrolls and the future of this franchise, including Elder Scrolls 6. We're also going to be talking about the Fallout franchise because a lot of us are dying to know more information about Fallout 5, so we'll touch base about that one too. So let's do this. Let's dive in. First of all, we're going to start out with Starfield because it's going to be the most immediate entry in the Bethesda portfolio of games. It was really interesting when Todd Howard sat down with IGN. He went on to go ahead and describe how he would like this game world to be more reactive to the player. Now, there's a lot of work that needs to be done here, of course, considering bugs, glitches, and things like that need to be ironed out, but he wants it to be far more impactful than what we have seen with, of course, Skyrim and Fallout. He really wants the player to feel like NPCs are reacting to them normally and realistically, of course. And I'm curious to see how they're going to improve this compared to Fallout 4 and, of course, Elder Scrolls. It's going to be very interesting. Now, back to Starfield, let's talk about factions. Now, what he did confirm is that factions will be similar to what we have experienced in Skyrim. This could be really big news, actually, because it's likely your faction choice will also make it easier or more difficult to explore certain areas in Starfield. So alliances, I think, might really matter in this universe. Also, it does sound kind of like an upgrade to what we had in Fallout 4 regarding factions. So that is really cool. Now, they did also talk a little bit about the graphics engine. As you can see, it's looking really sharp. Now, will it look like this when it finally releases? Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one, but I'm hoping that it does look this good. Now, they have confirmed that Starfield is going to be one of their biggest leaps since their previous entries. And, you know, it's kind of like the leap from, I guess you would say, Oblivion to Skyrim. It was such a massive leap with these games, in my opinion. But one of the things I think that they need to really improve on, it sounds like they're improving on all of this big time, are the animations. And I think that's one thing that we're going to see in Starfield. Now, again, the game is completely playable as confirmed by Todd Howard in this interview, but they're still doing a lot of work right now. What's really interesting is they did talk about their history with gamers as well and what they want to do for Starfield in terms of mod support. It sounds like they want to take it even further by supporting modders, but they want modders to be able to push it beyond just being a hobby. So this is really interesting. I don't know if it means that there's going to be monetization for certain mods or if there's going to be something new introduced in Starfield, but stay tuned for that. It's cool to me that, you know, they would be willing to support modders in this way. Now, Todd Howard did confirm that Starfield was a now or never project after Fallout 4, implying that, yes, they really wanted to make this game. They wanted to do something a little bit different than what we saw with the Fallout universe. And of course, they wanted to do something different from the Elder Scrolls. And it's something very exciting and new to the team. Now, they had heavy emphasis on the word ambitious. This is by far their most ambitious new IP for them regarding Starfield. And you know what? Thankfully, they did reconfirm that they are hyper focused on a single player experience. That gets me super excited because I think they really have nailed it with single player games for the most part, especially with Elder Scrolls and of course Fallout. So considering that Starfield is going to be much bigger than even Skyrim, as confirmed by Todd Howard and the team, that's saying something, and for a single player universe, that gets me very excited. Now, Bethesda also talked about the skills and abilities that we can kind of expect in Starfield, and that they will be similar to, guess what, Skyrim. They hope to lay out the skills and abilities similar to Skyrim, which I think if it ain't fixed, why If it ain't broken, excuse me, why try to fix it? So that's really important. But, you know, my biggest worry is that this new system in Starfield could potentially be too complicated and too overwhelming for players. So I hope that's not the case. We'll see what happens with that one. But honestly, I want a very deep RPG system. So I'm really excited about that one. Now, Todd Howard did also confirm that the release date that you did see in the Starfield trailer is basically set in stone. They don't plan to change that around. My opinion is anything can happen with release dates nowadays, considering the pandemic and, you know, what's going on there. So yeah, it's going to be interesting if they can keep to that release date. Now, there was also a really interesting job listing for Bethesda, and I'm going to read it off here. It was discovered by a Redditor. Check this out right here. It goes on to say the following. Hi, at around 25:30 in the recent interview, Todd mentioned in response to a question about visual fidelity that he would rather to have all the little bits in shiny pixels and to be able to pick up the cups. There's also a visual effects artist job listing posting on Bethesda website. It mentions a few things seemingly relevant to this, designing and producing a variety of high quality art assets consisting in majority of visual effects. This includes animation and simulation of particles, volume, fluid effects, liquids, and natural and non-natural environmental effects. So I found that really interesting that they're looking for someone to, you know, go all in on, I guess you would say, more water effects, liquid effects. So I'm curious to see if there's some sort of entity in Starfield that is kind of like the Abyss. I don't know if you guys have seen the Abyss movie. If you haven't, check it out. It is definitely worth it. But yeah, that movie involves like a liquid type being. We'll see if that's something that is in Starfield. Of course, we did get some interesting replies here regarding this job listing, and I think people are really on point about the graphics engine for the future of these games. Check it out right here. Optic Blitz says this: that might be for the ocean waves, where we might see pirate ship naval combat for Elder Scrolls 6, maybe something like Sea of Thieves. Now we got a reply here from Delaner who says that's what I've been thinking for years, that if the Elder Scrolls 6 takes place around Illic Bay, there needs to be a sailing mechanic of some sort. The presence of ocean is highlighted there. And to me, that makes a lot of sense that they would want to invest some time and money into developing their ocean technology if in fact they are going to be going after sailing as a mechanic. And you know what? I think that could actually be very possible because of The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 is something that they probably look back to and they want to stay competitive against. So it would make sense to me that, you know, that they would go after a selling mechanic for sure. Now let's continue onward and talk a little bit about, of course, Fallout 5, because we do have some interesting details about that one. Now, check it out right here. Here is the headline. It says, Bethesda confirms Fallout 5 plans, but says it's in the queue behind Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. Todd Howard appears to play down the chances of the game being developed externally. And you know what? It's their baby. I don't see them giving away Fallout 5 to another studio at this point. It just makes a lot of sense that they would want to hold on to it. Now, of course, they might go on a hiring spree. That would also be something that I think that they would want to do. But here's his quote. He says, I don't see, look, Fallout's really part of our DNA here. He responded, seemingly playing down the chances of another studio taking the reins before not ruling it out completely. We've worked with other people from time to time. I can't say what's going to happen, he continued. You know, we have a one-pager on Fallout 5, what we want to do. And that's basically what they have so far for Fallout 5. They know that this game is very far away. I mean, it's behind Elder Scrolls 6, and that is saying something. We got to get through Starfield first of all, then we go to the Elder Scrolls, and then of course Fallout. Now, what's interesting back onto Starfield and all of their game franchises is that they're wanting to add social systems into this game. Now, Todd Howard spoke a little bit about that, and they are interested into perhaps adding something like this into Starfield, but once again, reconfirm the fact that Starfield is hyper-focused on being a single-player game. And I like the sound of that for sure. I'm glad that they're going after single-player only games right now, because, you know, they've had some issues with multiplayer. And honestly, they've done a pretty good job with Fallout 76, though, and bringing that back to light. But yeah, it's good to see that Bethesda is going back to the roots. So yeah, there it is, guys. The latest happenings around Starfield, Elder Scrolls, and of course, Fallout. Let me know which is your favorite franchise out of all of those. I myself, I'm going to say I'm super hyped to see what they can do in space. I'm so hyped for Starfield. Of course, I'm guarding my hype levels, but man, to hear that this has like double the dialogue than Skyrim, that gets me extremely curious to see how big this game is exactly. There it is. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more updates about Starfield, Elder Scrolls 6, and of course Fallout 5. And I will see you all next time. Take care.